Today we're going to talk about buying a used Bugaboo Bee model on the secondhand market, and we're going to give some tips as to what to look for when buying it. This is a B+, but the mechanisms and the design of the stroller hasn't really changed that much after the B+. There are some changes, but the information in this video is still going to be applicable. There are differences in relation to the first generation of Bugaboo Bee, and unless you're getting like a phenomenal price and you've really checked it over, I don't necessarily recommend buying the first generation, as they did make significant improvements since then. So what you want to know first off with the Bugaboo Bee is there's a lot of plastic, a lot of complex plastic parts, and you really want to check all the mechanisms, especially the seat. Seat is almost all plastic. You need to check the seat regulation mechanism. That's a big one. If it breaks, you'll have to replace the whole seat. You want to check the canopy clips. These are these very long plastic tunnels on either side. They also tend to break. And you also want to check the mechanism that puts the seat onto the stroller in the first place. So you want to take the seat off and just have a look inside, make sure it works, make sure it locks in place on both sides. It does this as you move the seat into higher positions. So make sure that it's tight on. And then you want to check the footboard, or I suppose the part of the seat the child sits on. So there are these long plastic ridges underneath, and these parts can also break. In which case, when your child sits on it, it'll lean to one side in an unpleasant manner. So that's the seat. As far as the rest of the chassis, we're going to remove the seat and have a look at the chassis. So on the chassis, you want to check all of the plastic joints, that nothing is broken. And you want to collapse the chassis. Make sure that it can be taken upright and that it locks easily on both sides. In some cases that can just be a matter of oiling, but make sure it at least locks on both sides. Yeah. Barring that, there are a few things that also can go wrong, but that you can get reserve parts for. So this includes these clips. If this handle won't lock at various heights, there is some parts inside here, and we have videos where we open up this mechanism and show it. Those parts can be purchased online. The same goes for the wheels. Back wheels can often have a problem whereby the teeth for the brakes have stripped down, but you can replace these wheels as well as the front wheels and anything related to them. So that includes the locking functions and removing them. But of course, if there is something wrong with these parts, you would want to get a good discount and be willing to order parts. So assuming you're not and you just want to make a one-time purchase, make sure that you check that the front wheels lock, that the front wheels can be taken off as such, and they click in place well. Try rotating the wheels, make sure that the ball bearings function smoothly, and try testing the stroller. Walk with it for a while and make sure that the front wheels don't begin to wobble too much if you go too fast. If that happens, you can purchase a butterfly washer from Bugaboo that can be put between the front wheel and the chassis. That will fix this problem, but again, something you want to look at when you're buying it. In relation to the textiles, you want to look over them, make sure that there aren't rips that you're unwilling to fix, that they aren't too sun faded, especially if you don't wish to dye them. And importantly, you want to check the safety buckles, that they're whole, because there's a lot of thin plastic areas that can break. You can of course also replace buckles if necessary. As a closing, I just wanted to say that sometimes when you buy things used, there can be unscrupulous sellers, and you want to be aware of statements like it's a little bit hard to put up, or a little bit hard to take the seat off, or a little bit hard to find the right position, and so on. These are indications that there could be something wrong with the mechanisms that are related to what they're talking about. So if they say something like this, you want to check that those mechanisms function. They can be indications that things are broken. In any case, we hope that this video has been helpful. If it has been, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us to continue making videos in the future.